what's amazing with PPAR gamma activation is that it promotes apoptosis. Now, TZDs do not do that. The product that stimulates cell death is microalgae PPARs. The SimplyNature PPARs came from microalgae, which is literally food. It was made by God, not synthetic whatsoever. So there's a lot of a myriad, thousands of nutrients and polyphenols inside the microalgae that works in synergy. Okay? So when you take it, then that's when it becomes really effective, especially when you tie it up to a healthy lifestyle.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Simply Heal, and today we have Dr. Jansen with us again. Doc, welcome back to the program.
Hi, glad to be here again with you guys.
Okay, today's program actually came from you, our viewers. Two programs ago, someone asked this question: does sugar fuel cancer? That means, does eating sugar make cancer worse? So today, Dr. Jansen will answer that question, and I just want to remind everybody, we have a Q&A after every program, so and you type your questions in, we will really read it, and we will even develop an entire episode just based on your queries, as what we are doing today. So Dr. Jansen, does sugar affect cancer?
Okay, the simplest answer is yes and no.
All right, yes and
okay,
no.
yes and no. Yes, sugar feeds cancer cells for their growth, but our healthy cells, our normal cells, also need sugar for it to function. Okay, so where did this concept of sugar feeds cancer cells came from? So it's because of the Warburg effect, no? So basically, what the Warburg effect is that since cancer cells are multiplying
Growing
uninhibited.
fast.
Yeah, they're really growing fast, so they are highly metabolic. And the primary fuel of metabolism is glucose or sugar.
Alright.
So these cancer cells will tend to metabolize glucose much faster or at a higher degree than the normal cells. Okay, but is it really the sugar? So,
is it really the sugar? This is an important question because here in Philippines, and I think throughout Southeast Asia, people can't live without their sugar.
yeah.
Right? So everything is sweet.
Yeah.
Filipinos are very sweet, and because they eat a lot of sweet stuff. So,
Yeah.
well, we really want to know, is it really, how does it work, Doc?
Okay, so first let us establish if you go on a very low sugar diet, does your cancer improve? Does your condition improve? So, the diet in existence today that has a very low carbohydrate intake is the ketogenic diet.
Oh, that's a very famous giant diet, the keto diet. Even ice cream. There's a brand of ice cream called keto ice cream. All right. So in fact, that's a big fad. And Doc, since you brought it up, I'm very curious to your answer because is keto diet healthy, right? So I think we'll be able to answer many questions with this very good question from our viewers.
Okay, so here it goes.
There it goes.
Okay, this study actually got a sample of breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Yeah,
right.
so what they did is to drip, instead of glucose, they drip ketones on it. And what they found out is that the tumor growth increased by 2.5 times.
Wow. We're going to flash up this study. Take a look at it now. Okay, look at it. It's written very clearly. All right.
Okay, so now, yes, the tumor increased, the ketones increased the tumor growth by 2.5 times. Now,
2.5 times.
by 2.5 times.
250% faster growth is ketones. Wow.
Yeah. And it shows that these cancer cells have a higher affinity for ketones is because breast cancer cells tend to metastasize to the liver more commonly. Okay, so, and as we all know, liver is a major site of ketogenesis because liver is a major organ of metabolism, right? Okay, so that explains why. And if you take a look at the genetic makeup, those cancer cells who are exposed to ketones are actually more aggressive. But here's the thing: does it translate to clinically? And unfortunately, yes, because breast cancer patients who are on a ketogenic diet actually fare worse than their normal counterparts. So their overall survival decreases significantly.
Wow.
Okay.
And I think women are the primary targets of a ketogenic diet because they want to lose weight and be slim.
Yeah. And to be fair, what they want to do is valid because for cancer, you always want to shed off the weight because obesity is a major risk factor for cancer as well. Okay, so if you if you decrease your weight, then your overall survival will significantly increase. Yeah, but you have to do it right. So now let's investigate further. What is it in sugar that feeds cancer?
Oh wow, this is exciting.
Okay, so here is a multidimensional model of cancer development. So basically what this model tells us is that insulin resistance and inflammation are major driving forces behind cancer. Okay? So chronic hyperinsulinemia promotes cancer growth, or if your insulin levels are on a very high level for a very long period of time, so what it produces is that it stimulates abnormal cellular signaling, and then it promotes growth factor dependent cell proliferation and directly affecting cellular metabolism. Another one is that insulin increases IGF-1 or insulin-like growth factor 1. So how does it do it? It enhances the liver production of IGF-1 and thereby reducing the production of IGF binding proteins. So IGF binding proteins are actually proteins that holds the IGF-1 so that the IGF-1 does not produce its effect. Okay? Then another factor is that insulin decreases the sex hormone binding globulin, which increases estrogen levels, therefore increasing breast cancer risk. So again, sex hormone binding globulin acts like a glove which holds the sex hormones, which is estrogen, so that estrogen does not produce its effect too much. So another one is obesity. So as we all know, obesity is the most common cause of insulin resistance, and it promotes low-grade inflammation, which sets us up or sets up the environment for malignant transformation or cancer progression. Okay, so another one is if your blood sugar is high for a very long period of time or chronic hyperglycemia and increased oxidative stress. So these also contributes to increased cancer risk. So if you are diabetic, so you have to be careful as well.
Okay, Doc, you said a lot of scientific terms. Okay, let me ask so that our viewers, everyone can understand. So basically, you were saying that does sugar affect cancer? And the answer is yes. And
No.
also no.
Yeah.
Okay, so we take a look at whether sugar affects cancer by looking at the extreme opposite. What if we have very low sugar and what happens, right? And that's the ketones. So those of us who go on ketogenic diet, we are trying to burn fat, we reduce sugar level, we don't eat carbo, right? So no carbo, no glucose, low sugar level. And it shows that ketones actually increase the cancer tumor growth by 250%.
Right.
Wow, and how they did it is that they drip ketones onto the cancer tumor.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exactly what happens to your body. Your body becomes, that's why you have a test kit. Instead of testing blood sugar level, you test your ketone levels. Those of us who are fanatics about ketogenic diet, they actually buy ketone test kits, right?
Yeah.
So this really goes to show, out there, especially if you're a breast cancer patient, don't go for ketogenic diet, right? That is not good. Definitive answer is not good for your cancer. It will make your cancer tumors grow faster.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next is, but having high blood sugar is actually not good.
Yeah.
Okay, and it does a few things, right? Insulin levels will be high because you have a lot of sugar, so you produce a lot of insulin. So it's going to affect your. Okay, you said a lot of medical things, but basically having high sugar level is not good.
Not good as well.
All right,
Yes.
and that does that mean that if you're diabetic, diabetes causes cancer? I mean, or is a big factor in you developing cancer?
Yeah, it's a big factor. It's definitely a risk factor, though having diabetes doesn't necessarily always equate to cancer. So diabetes does not cause cancer,
Okay.
but those of you who are diabetic have an increased risk of getting cancer. Okay.
It's like me playing my PS4 does not make my wife angry,
Yeah.
but playing PS4 increases the risk of me irritating my wife.
Right. Right.
Okay.
It's the.
All right, so
basically the thing,
definitely
yeah.
the answer for me at home is not to play PS4 if I want to make my wife happy.
Yeah.
Right. So if you really want to be cancer free, right? Don't make sure you don't have a high sugar intake. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So, hi guys. Before we continue, I would just like to remind everyone, if you have any questions, just comment them down below, and we're going to answer them later in the live Q&A. So, the next question is, okay, now, Doc, we have to control our insulin, right? So, how do we do that?
How do we do that?
How do we do that? So, remember, the main function of insulin is that once you eat, your blood sugar increases. The main function of insulin is to bring down your blood sugar. Okay? It's a negative feedback effect. It's in order for your body to control your blood sugar levels. Okay? So, how insulin decreases the blood sugar levels is that insulin acts like a key. So, the insulin attaches to a receptor in the surface of the cell membranes. Okay, so once that insulin attaches to that receptor, the receptor acts like a gate or a door. So it opens up so that your blood sugar can go inside the cell in order for your cells to utilize sugar or glucose. Okay, so that is the basic function of insulin is. Now, here's the problem. Insulin also attaches to a receptor in your cell membrane called the INSR receptor. So the INSR receptor is an enzyme. Okay? So once insulin interacts with INSR, this produces a cellular cascade, no? A cellular cascade that leads to increased cell proliferation, increased migration, increased differentiation, and inhibition of apoptosis or cellular death. So, in simpler terms, it produces increased cellular multiplication. And remember, cancer is unlimited cellular multiplication. Okay? Uninhibited cellular multiplication.
Wow, that's dangerous.
So, that is how it does it. So now, you have to be able to control your insulin spikes. In order to do that, you have to increase your fiber intake. Okay? Because, why? Fiber, once you eat it, inside the intestine, it acts like a sponge so that your intestine does not absorb all the sugar in one go. Okay? So that is how you control your insulin spike.
That's a problem for Filipino diet because we eat rice and adobo with no fiber in it at all because the rice is white rice, not brown rice.
Yeah.
So that's why, and my friend, I remember my friend has his record is at Mang Inasal, unlimited rice, 8 bowls of rice. So that he must have had a crazy insulin spike.
Yeah.
So if he was a cancer patient, that would be bad news.
Yeah, that would be bad news because he would be fueling his cancer much to a higher extent.
All right. So Doc, I mean, in the beginning, I think a lot of people were very happy because you sort of hinted that sugar is not bad for cancer, but actually the normal diet is Filipino diet is not going to be cancer friendly.
Yeah.
High sugar levels creates the insulin problem. Does this mean also that if I'm a diabetic and I'm injecting insulin, that means if a diabetic on insulin and has cancer is it's a terrible situation?
Again, it's a yes and no answer.
Okay.
It depends on how high you are, how high is the dose that you are injecting, and how long are you already injecting insulin. Now, if for type 2 diabetics who are injecting insulin, usually these patients inject a very relatively higher dose of insulin. So researchers also found out that diabetic patients who are on regular insulin, injecting insulin, they're at a higher risk of developing cancer. But here's the thing. Having cancer or developing cancer is really multiple reasons, multifactorial. So is it really because of the insulin injection, or is it because of your lifestyle?
It's everything, right?
It's everything. It's one thing influences another, then they have both influences cancer growth. So it's not really a cause and effect, but it's a matter of risk. You increase your risk. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how it works. Okay? So if you are injecting insulin, make sure you change your diet, because if not, here is another problem that you might have to face sooner or later.
Wow. So, lots of. So again, I think this answers our question. So what does it mean for a cancer patient? What should they do? How should they manage their sugar intake, since they cannot not eat sugar, because that would be bad.
Yeah.
Now, if they follow the normal Mang Inasal 8 bowls of rice, that would also be bad.
Yeah.
So if they eat a regular amount, like a normal Southeast Asian person, easily at every meal we eat 1.5 to 2 cups of rice, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we should lessen that to 1 cup or half cup and eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. If you want to have a consultation with me, just comment down below and our team will get back to you to set an appointment with me.
What else do they need to do to manage this sugar thing? If they want to eat 1.5 cups of rice, then what can they do so that they can eat 1.5 cups of rice?
Okay, so here's what you can do. You can actually take cleansing. So cleansing is a fiber drink.
Okay.
You can actually drink it before you eat. Okay,
so
that
make you full.
Yeah, it will make you full. Number one, so you don't eat as much, and then you get your dose of fiber, so you get your sponge, so to speak. Okay, and then eat the food that you like. But of course, doesn't if you're taking cleansing, then you're going to eat your lechon, you're going to eat your mang inasal. Then doesn't work that way. You know. So still, you should be eating a whole food plant-based diet, and then, if you are not yet ready, or you are on your journey into transitioning, then drinking cleansing would be a very good help, so that you immediately up your fiber intake.
So fiber intake is so important because it regulates your body's the way it absorbs.
Yeah.
So you avoid all the spikes in your sugar intake.
Yeah.
Actually, it's okay for you to eat sugar, right? Rice, enjoy your rice. But the problem is, if you don't eat fiber, the rice goes into your system like a shock.
Immediately. Yeah.
Right? So that makes something good and permissible become bad. So as long as you eat more vegetables, and if you can't find vegetables, take cleansing fiber, then you are able to have a more normal diet. And
another benefit is that if your fiber intake is high, it makes your bowel movement much faster.
Yeah.
So the toxins doesn't stay too much inside your colon. So you immediately expel it after.
That's also very important. Cancer patients have a buildup of toxicity in their body. You gotta keep it cleansed. I know so many cancer patients have constipation problem.
Yeah.
And they feel so good when they go to the CR. Success! You know?
Yeah.
Well, Doc, we've talked about so much about diabetes, and so really today I'm very surprised. We were supposed to talk about sugar and cancer, but I realized today that so much of diabetes is related to cancer, and Filipinos, I think the statistics tell us that like 30% of Filipinos are diabetic.
Yeah.
But honestly, my feeling is like 70% of Filipinos are diabetic. It's just that they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that makes it the case that almost every Filipino that gets cancer, their cancer is more complicated because they are very likely to be pre-diabetic or slightly diabetic or full-blown diabetes, right? So, wow. And I just want to say, I am so excited because Simply Nature PPAR series is originally designed, it's perfect for diabetics. We actually help the blood sugar, the cells become insulin sensitive, so you don't have to produce so much insulin, right? Your insulin actually works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because it's also high fiber, full of chlorophyll, detox, and all that stuff, binds the food. Wow, it's really a great way, especially during COVID right now too. So it's amazing. And I remember in one of our research diagrams, our PPAR actually was compared to TZDs. And Doc, you mentioned something about TZDs and cancer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay. Hi guys. Before we continue, I would just like to remind everyone, if you have any questions, just comment them down below and we're going to answer them later in the live Q&A. TZDs are also known as thiazolidinedione. So this is a classification of drugs. So they are basically used for diabetes. So examples of this is pioglitazone. Okay, so TZD acts like a PPAR agonist. It specifically binds to PPAR gamma. Okay, so what is amazing with this drug is that it inhibits INSR expression.
What does INSR do?
So INSR, okay, if we go back to what I said a while ago, no? So INSR, the main function of it is to promote cellular growth or cellular multiplication. Okay, so if we keep on stimulating that, then cells are going to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. So if cells grow and grow and grow, multiple times grow very fast, then the chances for mutations or genetic mutations will increase. Okay, so that's when cancer starts, or that's where when cancer grows.
So what you're saying is that PPAR gamma activation, like using TZD, which is a drug, to do that, will actually reduce or prevent your cells, like your cancer cells, from running around like crazy.
Yeah,
you basically calm them down so that they're not super active.
Yeah.
And that means for cancer patients, literally it means to slow down your tumor's rate of growth and to also prevent metastasis, the rampant growth. And I heard, Doc, you mentioned to me just now in our discussion, it also what's that called? Encourages apoptosis, because INSR reduces apoptosis. So if you lessen INSR, you actually cause apoptosis to happen more frequently.
Yeah.
And for our listeners out there, when I first heard the term apoptosis, I was like, what is that? Doc, what is apoptosis?
Okay, so apoptosis is programmed cell death. Okay, so cellular death, it's just cells dying. So that's medical term, it's apoptosis. Okay, so the amazing thing is that, okay, so INSR inhibits apoptosis, so it stops cell death. Okay, so once it inhibits cell death, then that gives your cancer cells a chance to grow exponentially, to grow more.
Wow.
Now, what's amazing with PPAR gamma activation is that it promotes apoptosis. Now, here's the thing.
Wow,
TZDs do not do that. Okay? TZDs do not induce cellular apoptosis. Okay? The product that stimulates cell death is microalgae, PPARs.
Wow, our Simply Nature PPARs. In fact, I'm going to ask Junie right now to find that research and flash it in front of you. Okay, so we actually published in, I think this is in Hindawi, which is the medical, where people publish medical journals, right? Yeah, and it states there our extract actually induces apoptosis.
Yeah.
So, this is the funny thing. For all the cancer patients out there, again, just to remind you, apoptosis means that your cancer cells die by themselves.
Yeah.
All right, they are supposed to grow old and die in a way, but strangely enough, normal healthy cells grow old and die, but cancer cells live much longer because of this reduced apoptosis. Well, if you take SimplyNature PPARs, that's why we prescribe, why Dr. Jansen, you prescribe it to your patients, because it actually encourages the cancer cells to die on their own without using chemo or anything. Is to switch on the switch that makes them grow old and die. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing with it is that hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. If you want to have a consultation with me, just comment down below and our team will get back to you to set an appointment with me. The SimplyNature PPARs came from microalgae, which is literally food. You know, it was made by God, so God designed it that way.
Wow.
It's not synthetic whatsoever. So there's a lot of a myriad, thousands of nutrients and the polyphenols inside the microalgae that works in synergy. Okay, so when you take it, then that's when it becomes really effective, especially when you tie it up to a healthy lifestyle. Okay.
Wow. So we have definitively answered your questions today, right? So the original question, let's flash it up again, is does sugar promote cancer growth? And the answer that Dr. Jansen gave is a very simple one. Simple and complex at the same time, but it's really simple. Number one, yes, eating too much sugar is bad for you because it will cause your cancers to grow. But to avoid sugar completely is also unhealthy. That will also ketones, which is the extreme where you don't take sugar at all, it actually increases tumor growth by 250%. So there you have it. To all the cancer patients, you can tell your loved ones that yes, you need sugar, all right? But there's a proper way to eat it, okay? So you can eat your white rice. You can eat sweet stuff like sweet potatoes and all that, okay? You can have the good things in life, but you need to make sure that the sugar doesn't spike in your system. So you got to have good dietary fiber, which is why Dr. Jansen always recommends eating vegetables. If you really cannot find vegetables, because every restaurant around you only sells adobo, okay, then take something like cleansing, okay, dietary fiber. And what's so exciting is that today we found out how diabetes or insulin really promotes cancer growth, causes cancer to multiply quickly. So that explains why so many cancer patients in the Philippines have a difficult time, because they are probably diabetic. They're probably diabetic. And it's such good news that SimplyNature PPARs actually controls diabetes. So it have all the wonderful effects. So there we have it, all right? You can have your sugar, you just gotta eat it right. And if you wanna know more, and if you want Dr. Jansen to give you a clear indication of how you're doing, how you should eat, then sign up for the consult. There's a link in this video right now. We have 3 lucky, again, we have chosen 3 lucky viewers who will get a free consult. And for the rest of the viewers, just click on the link so that you can arrange for a consult with Dr. Jansen. And today we have a special promotion, because Dr. Jansen has given, you find out about a special promotion by clicking on the link and asking Sheila and Laila, who will be there to help you arrange for your appointment. Again, if you have any questions, please ask. We might pick up your question and do an entire program on it. So Doc, thank you very much.
Goodbye everyone.
Okay.